Hello and welcome, Lynx here, and we are still playing Winter Fragments, of course. Which is a pretty lengthy game, to be fair. I think it was 40,000 words, so... well, technically it's not really a problem. Anywho, I'm starting recording this episode after 3 AM again. And it's entirely my fault, because I was on a quest of actually collecting stuff in Inazuma, and I collected quite a lot. I mean, everything that I can, at least at the moment. Technically, I supposedly 100%ed almost all of Inazuma. There is the Sangonomiya Island that I don't have access to some stuff, and whatever the foggy island at the very bottom is. It's foggy again, I can't do anything there, annoying. But yeah, we'll get there. Now, Winter Fragments though, let's focus on that. The days pass with the pair of us by, during which Chisato and I work our socks off on our capital letters visual novel. Chisato finishes with the sprites and works on a couple of full illustrations that depict the most crucial moments of our bittersweet romance story. I meanwhile continue to make progress on the script. I end up excising a few scenes and merging a few more together, which brings the final scene countdown from 20 to 16. I write the scenes down in Chisato's sketchbook first and then type them up on her PC. As I type, I make changes here and there, cutting out the extraneous words and adjusting the flow of the story. The script ends up a bit shorter than I anticipated as a result of all my editing, but I think it's better paced. It might be. Eventually, after 6 grueling days, I have the script all hammered out. It's a freaking decent work, I guess. In 6 days, all of that? Crazy. To be fair, a little bit of a side note, I guess, from me. That was around, I would say, the time that I needed to complete my thesis. I think I needed something like 6 days to finish it completely from scratch. Yep. Anyway. It's written and proofread, for I imagine there is a bunch of errors that sneaked past me. It is possible. Chisato meanwhile has finished 2 character sprites and 2 CGs. One depicting Sumire and Takumi's first meeting and the other their first kiss. So like first and last scene. In the interest of saving time, Chisato and I decide to use photographs for the backgrounds. Huh. I mean, makes sense. It's much quicker and less intensive than having, to be fair, for okay, it's 2001, so I guess it wouldn't be so easy to do that. But right now, I believe, because we also have seen that stuff in multiple VNs, you could get backgrounds from the internets, specifically for VNs. Also sprites, I guess, of characters. But if you get sprites of characters, you don't really have CGs, which kinda sucks. Anyway, it's much quicker and less intensive than having Chisato draw them from the scratch, and she isn't that good with detailed environments. She prefers drawing handsome men. Chisato and I head out with Mr. Shima's camera and snap pictures around the town. Huh. Okay, I did not expect a solution like that. And I'm not sure if that's a good idea, to be honest. Well, if you do it like real life. Yeah, I would say maybe I wouldn't recommend doing that. Especially if it's a town that you live in. Anyway. We then take a bus to St. Cecilia's, for its gates are locked during holidays so we can take photos of its stately entrance. Oh. Wow! I can't help but exclaim after alighting from the bus. Alighting from the bus. I honestly don't think I've seen that word before. Well, just from the context, you know what it means. This place sure is something. It's nothing special, really. What do you mean? It's gated and so on. Come on. It is. None of my schools were that fancy, obviously. I guess university could count. But still. What? How can you say that, G? With a building like this, parked in front of you, even the entrance gate's huge. St. Cecilia's entrance is an imposing structure. 2 stone columns support an elaborate wrought iron gate which stretches upwards as though to pierce the sky. Between the swirling lattice work of the gate, I can see a tree-lined avenue that leads to St. Cecilia's. There are so many evergreen trees and the avenue is so long, I can't see much of St. Cecilia's. This place is super cool! I peer through the school's fancy, elaborate gates with wide eyes. I'm having a blast, but I guess I must look like a tourist, which I suppose I am because Chisato's size. I don't know why you're making such a big deal about it. It's not like you've not been here before. I invited you here during the school's culture festival. Yeah, but it was like ages ago. It was a month ago. Hey, almost 2 months, gee, that was the start of November, it's the end of the December. Hitotsuba is something like this. It's so fancy. You might be used to this place, but I'm not. I hardly ever have a reason to stop by these fancy gates. I suppose that's true. I'm used to the school, but I can see why it would make an impact. It makes an impact, alright. I'm starting to wish I could have gone here too. Your grades wouldn't have been good enough. And even if you were, my parents aren't rich enough. I sigh and kick at the ground with the tip of my shoe. I thought I'd be a shoo-in for a scholarship, even if I studied my cute butt off like Sumire. There's no chance I ever could have gone here. But, well. I thought I'd fit in with all of you well-mannered young ladies. And just make a fool out of myself, and unlike Sumire, I'd have no Takumi around to come to my rescue. That's not strictly true, you know. Oh, say what, G? I mean, if you did come to St. Cecilia's, which you want, so it's a moot point, then... goodness. She would take Takumi's place for her. Chisato shakes her head. I shouldn't have to spell this out. Read between the lines for once in your life. Chisato doesn't elaborate further, despite my needling, but I think I know what it was she wanted to say. You might not have a Takumi, but you do have me. Chisato can be so sappy when she wants to be. It's pretty heartwarming. Yeah, definitely. Man, now I'm starting to blush. Alright, enough of this nonsense. We didn't come here to chatter, even if my teeth are beginning to do that. We need to take photographs, and quickly. It's freezing out here. If you do freeze, I can always warm you up. Do you want me to hold your hands? I'd rather get out the camera and start snapping so we can get on to the next bus to the town, back to the town. Gee, shoot down again. Now I know how sorry feels. You're so cold, Gee. I'm cold. I'm very, very cold. Let's get this over and done with, please. Okie dokie, you're the boss. I take Mr. Shima's camera off this case, then begin to snap photos at Chisato's behest. It'd be nice if I could slip through the bars of the school. It would be tough of the school's gate to snap some photos of the courtyard, but it doesn't look like that would be possible. I mean, you could always try to climb up. Maybe don't risk it. I bet a place like that would have guards and so on. Anyway, Chisato might be a sound Cecilia student, but we don't have permission to go inside. That would be trespassing, and trespassing is a crime. We'll have to make do with what shots we can get. For the interior scenes of Subiri and Takumi School, we'll have to rely on other people's photos found online. Chisato and I eventually finish our impromptu photo shoot and then head back to her house. We need to wait 10 minutes at the bus stop for the next bus, shivering all the while. Chisato digs her hand deep into pockets, but not even that's enough to keep the chill at bay. Eventually she capitulates, and why do they not have gloves? Said by someone who actually has to wear gloves always during winter. I'm like below 10, already starting to wearing gloves, not gonna lie. Below 10 Celsius. I have to, because my skin literally starts like breaking, sort of. This year it didn't fall, because I wore gloves early or something. Anyway, eventually she capitulates and she lets me link my fingers with hers. Ooh. Chisato's hands are cool like ice, and her fingers are almost as pale. She shivers like something breakable, and I'm afraid she might melt. It's something I really notice, since she's so very confrontational, but Chisato's actually pretty delicate. We ride back to the town in silence, then return to the Shima household around midday. Once home, Chisato sets to work editing the photos we took. She puts a filter on them in Photoshop, which helps them blend in with the stylized shoujo manga style of the characters. I honestly never used Photoshop. Not even once in my life. I'm using GIMP, cause it's free. Same, I'm not using Adobe's software for video editing, obviously. Again, because it's paid. DaVinci Resolve for the win. Which I did not use from the very beginning, to be fair, but I'm glad I jumped into it eventually. She also finds a few extra photos online for the interior scenes of Subiri and Takumi School, which she crops down and filters in a like style. Then we set our minds to the visual novel's soundtrack. Royalty free. We don't know any composers who would be willing to whip up a few tracks for us, free of charge, so instead score the net for royalty free music. I wonder if that's what they were doing in 2001 as well. Maybe. For I would imagine that whatever engine they use already has that, like some tracks. Because I don't know, if you play enough games, you hear a lot of tracks being reused. And I think it's especially for things done in RPG Maker. Because a lot of RPGs there have the same music over and over. Anyway. We find about 8 tracks which would suit our story well. Mostly gentle piano renditions of the well-known classics. Speaking of that, I'm supposed to go to YouTube library, right? I just can't get myself into doing that. There's so much stuff there. And so much also bad stuff. Good stuff too, but anyway. Our visual novel is supposed to invoke a sort of feeling, like a castella cake. It's focused around small everyday moments and mentoring conversation with lots of shy glances and puns to the sky. Music more dramatic than, let's say, Eric Satie. I recognize that name from somewhere. would be totally inappropriate. After a huge amount of work, Chisato and I have finally assembled all the pieces needed to pull our story together. We have the art, the writing, the music. My bittersweet love story turned out to be quite a short project, but that's to be expected given our tight deadline. I think it's something we can be proud of. Here is to us, partner! Smile at Chisato once we've finished uploading the last of the files onto a memory stick. Here is to us. Memories? You mean pen drive? Chisato returns my smile with a rare upward quirk of her own limbs. To be fair, 2001? Floppy disk would even be a thing still. Just now that I think about it, when I was in high school, right? So years... 2009? No. When did I go to high school? Let's see. 2006 I graduated here. Yeah, 2009, 2012 high school. IT. We were using floppy disks still. Which I guess kind of made sense. When we had a test and so on, we had to save stuff on floppy disks. Every person had its own. Also, obviously the teacher did not recognize if you had the same or not. I had literally the same floppy disks, 2 of them, right? And not gonna lie, when it came to programming, I did not understand from his explanations anything. Eventually I learned on my own. But there have been quite a few things where I cheated by bringing the ready thing, right? Just switching up, or more like, yeah, switching up the floppy disks, right? Obviously, from that one floppy disk, I would copy the thing onto the desktop, create a new thing, and then copy what's in the old thing to the new thing. So the file has the fresh date as well, obviously, right? Dude. But don't cheat, kids. Don't cheat, kids. Anyway. Thank you for going along with my selfish whims, Saku. You worked really hard. I could say the same about you. You really poured you all into all of this. And you looked really cool too when you focused on your drawings. Your gaze was super intense like a hunter's. Hey? Oh my. That does sound very ladylike. Maybe not, but there is more to you than being a well-bred young madame. You're a really fairy deep down. Being with you must bring it out of me. When we were together, well... Chisato's voice trails away. Shyly, she toys with a strand of her straight black hair, winding it about her finger like a length of a ribbon. I want to be the very best version of me I can be. What a show-off! What do you mean? You don't need to make such an effort. I think you're cool regardless, Chi. But I'm glad you care about my opinion so much. It's not I care that much. It's just... I know I can be critical sometimes and I worry I might push you away. We're getting older after all, and we can't spend as much time together as we did, so... I thought if we work on a fun project together, it might bring us closer. Do you think it worked? I don't know about that. Then do you think it was a failure? No, I don't. But I do think it was unnecessary. We're best friends anyway, dummy. I think we'd stay close regardless, even if we didn't work on this project. Nice. Nice. But all the same, I'm glad we did it. I also think that. I really did have fun. Let's go. Scene 2. Hey, Saur. Hey, Saurin, we have good news. That's how I greet Sauri when I come clattering downstairs at lunchtime, full of the joys of spring. Even if it is winter right now. Oh, What's that then? Did something good happen? Yes, it did. Something really good. It didn't happen all on its own, for you see. I flop down to the seat next to Saori and then clear my throat all dramatic like. Gee, and I have finally finished working on our visual novel. Oh my! Mrs Shima, who's in the process of setting the table, glanced at me. But there's good news. It's no wonder you look so cheerful. You girls have been working awfully hard. We sure have. For a while, I was worried I wouldn't make it, but with Chi's support, I was able to push past my limits. My fingers are covered in sores from all that writing. Look, look! Oh yeah, those do look like some angry welts. Do they hurt much, Saku dear? Nah, it's fine. It's no big deal. It'll be hard to hold your chopsticks like that for. Are you sure don't want me to fetch you a plaster? Thanks, but I think I'll be fine. I'm tough, you know, and I wouldn't want to be a bother. Oh, it's no bother at all. Won't you let me pamper you? I'd do the same to Saori or Chi if they were feeling unwell. But it's not like I'm sick or anything. The only bug I've been bitten by, to my knowledge, is the one of inspiration. But for a little mind, I guess it might help. Of course I do, man. Just give me a moment. Mrs Shima bustles off, but not before crying. You girls can start eating if you want, over her shoulder. I feel ravenous and dig into my ginger chicken right away. Sounds good. The welts on my right hand index finger does make the process a bit of a challenge, but I persevere. Nothing will keep me away from Mrs Shima's cooking. This is delicious! I can't believe we got everything down so fast. You've only been at it for what, a week? That's right, we worked like super hard. We gave it our all, now all the writing's done, and all the art too. We've got all the building blocks we need to make something really cool. Wow, that's amazing. Good job, Saku, you've outdone yourself. I know, pretty more. You're amazing, the best. I can't wait to take a look through your story. Don't be too effusive with your compliments, please. It's only a short visual novel. It's nothing too special. You've made a game. Come on. Hey, don't be so down on yourself. I think it's pretty cool that you got this project off the ground. I had a few doubts, if I'm being honest, when Saku first told me about it. You did? Hey, no offense, Saku. Whenever people say that, they always proceeded with a remark that ranges from minorly to majorly offensive. I expect the story will be no different. But you're kinda ditzy. Yes, there we go. That's the insult I was waiting for. Hey, that's mean! Sorry, Saku, but it's true. You're like the total opposite of G. She takes everything super duper seriously, but you never seem to take anything seriously at all. You drift through life, kinda like a tumbleweed, maybe? A tumbleweed? What is this, a western? I'm not an American. I've never even been to the Mojave desert, whatever. Is that a thing? If you want to call me spacey, you could at least have compared me to dandelion clock. Oh, I guess that would be more girly, huh? It totally would. I said dandelion, didn't I? Dandelion. I don't know why I always mess up that name. Whatever. But this doesn't seem to suit you somehow. Why not? I think you know why. I have to agree with Saori here for once in my life. You're definitely more of a tumbleweed than the dandelion clock. It's too cheap. I grab my chest in an exaggerated manner and then slump back in my chair. I thought you were supposed to be on my side. There are no sides, I'm just stating the facts. Yeah. The Shima sisters agree once in a blue moon. It's rare for them to gang up on me. I should probably be happy to see them bonding, but my self-esteem is taking quite a beating. I might act cheaper almost 24/7. The times when I'm asleep, accepted. But despite what Saori said, I'm not a total ditz. I feel like neither of you are taking me all that seriously. I didn't take you seriously at first when you said you were going to make a visual novel. I thought you'd lose interest within the first few days. Better you and Chi would get into some kind of fight. Eh? Well, yeah, well, you were wrong, weren't you? Indeed I was. I'm more than happy to eat my own words. Or, thoughts in this case. I didn't want to come across a no fun negative Nancy, so I kept my lip buttoned. I want to see what you were capable of, and I'm glad you stuck with it. You girls really are the best. You don't need... Oh, she said that. Okay. You don't need to say clap, clap, clap out loud, sorry. Not when you're actually clapping. Oh, she was. She did the same and both at the same time. Okay. Didn't expect that. I know I don't. I'm just trying to get my enthusiasm across. Is it working? I suppose. So will help us code our visual novel together? We have all the writing and the art, and we found some royalty-free music to use as the BGM. We sorted all the assets into folders and put them in a memory stick. And I noted which backgrounds were needed when in the script and all the different character expressions. I want to make your life easy, sorry, but maybe I shouldn't have bothered. I pout. Maybe I'm being childish, but sorry, Stumbleweed comment still stings. I know I'm not the most girly of girls out there. Not by a long shot, but likening me to a tumbleweed, that's just rude. Yeah... I don't know. Am I weird for liking Saku? But then again, Saori wins. Oh come on! Don't be like that, Saku! I'm impressed by what you've done. Have made that abundantly clear. You're only impressed because you figured I'd never be able to commit to anything. And I was wrong. Let's bury the hatchet, okay? I don't know if things will be that easy. You've ruined my sensitive, maidenly heart. Oh man, I guess I've not made myself very popular. So I need to work extra hard to make up for it. When do you two want me to start coding the project of yours? As soon as possible. As soon as possible. Can you make some progress after lunch? Hey, sure thing. It'd be my pleasure, my ladies. Sorry, drops Chisato and I need bow, just like a butler might. Her motions are fluid and graceful, though they are hampered somewhat by her oversized tracksuit. It's hard to look elegant in a getup like that. I doubt even Chisato could. Actually, no. Maybe Chisato could pull it off. She's crazy like that. Here you are, Saku. Sorry for the delay. Mrs Shima descends upon me, a few plasters in hand. She hands them to me and I apply them carefully to the right welts on my fingers. That should make handling my chopsticks a bit easier. So what are you girls going to be doing today? Do you have any plans? I'm going to code the revision of it together and I'll probably give it a read too. I'm curious. Coding? Mrs Shima tilts her head to one side. She's wearing the same perplexed expression my English teacher, Mrs. Aizawa does whenever she has to wage war with the photocopier. Yeah, I know that feeling. Like, sometimes trying to explain what you do to the older generation is tough. It is. Like, I was not capable of explaining what I do to my grandparents, for example. To my parents, to be honest, I don't know really the details. But maybe they do understand. Maybe. I'm not sure. It never seems to obey her. You mentioned this before, but I don't understand it. It all sounds very technical. When I was your age, I read magazines and I went shopping with my girlfriends. Girlfriends? Yeah, well, you lived in the dark ages. You're a veritable dinosaur, Mom. The times they are changing. Evidently they are. I can't keep abreast of all of this, but I'm glad you girls seem to be enjoying yourselves. You have had fun, haven't you? I've had the most fun. Then that's all that matters. Now, I can't understand what coding entails, but I do understand reading. Would you mind if I took a peek at the story you've written to Saku? What? I wasn't expecting that. The thought of handing my story over to Sari is embarrassing enough without Mrs Shima scrolling through it. It's just a straightforward romance story, no spicier than anything you'd see on TV drama, but it is pretty sappy. It's not the kind of thing I want my best friend's mother reading. I rack my brain, trying desperately to think of a way to dissuade Mrs Shima from her curiosity, but... Of course you can look at it, Mata. There is little point writing stuff if nobody will read it. I'm sure Saku would be very happy for the feedback, wouldn't you, Saku? Chisato kicks my shin beneath the tabletop. Ow! I whimpered for not in pain. My face burning bright red, just like the welts on my precious fingers. This is excruciatingly embarrassing. Is this Chisato's way of paying me back for telling her, Mother, all those days about our visual novel when it was still in the WIP stage? If I'd have known my candidness would come back to bite me so spectacularly, I would have been a bit more discreet about it. It's too late for regrets now, though. Wonderful, I can't wait to take a look. I'm sure Saku can't wait either. I groan, then slide down in my chair. I don't want Mrs. Shima to read my story, but how can I stop her when she's smiling like that? I eat the rest of my lunch in silence while the members of the Shima family talk about my imagined writing prowess. It would be no exaggeration to say that this is the most awkward meal I've ever had in my life. I imagine. Anyway. With that being said, let's cut the episode right here, right now. Because as I mentioned in the very beginning, it's super late. And I actually want to go to bed. We'll see how the process of coding goes and so on, and maybe we'll find out what the girls, so Saori and her mother, think about the story itself. We'll see tomorrow, hopefully. Hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking it if you did. It's super helpful for the channel in general. If you're fresh to here, subscribe. We'll finish Winter Fragments and we'll play more VNs for sure. Maybe some other types of games too. Also Twitch, Twitter, Instagram in the description if you're into that stuff as well. And of course the game is linked. It's on itch.io. Yes. End of that crappy segment. Hope you'll have a wonderful day and... Wait, it's Monday today? Yeah, it's Monday. Oi. It's still a day off. At least in Poland, due to Easter. So yeah, hope you have a great day and feel free to drop by tomorrow. I would absolutely love to see you.